And welcome to another episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
Welcome, everybody, to another wonderful Monday evening. It is NFL Draft Week. That's right. We've made it Thursday night, 7 o'clock. We are going to be finally able to see the first round with the Eagles having two picks. It's certainly exciting to see where they go with the multitude of different possibilities that they certainly can go. We obviously talked a lot about it on Saturday night, live at the Berwyn Tavern for our Philly Sports Alliance offseason roundtable number 2 draft special. So we want to quickly, before we get into anything, thank you everybody who came out and was watching and listening and commenting and, who showed up and had a good time. And, special hats off to our good buddy, Mike Miller, who showed up nice and early with his other buddy, Mike. And they had a great time, and we enjoyed having them. It's the first time we've actually been able to see each other. And he's been a fan of the show for quite some time. So,
it was meeting him.
Yeah, absolutely. And before he left, he showed us a few magic tricks that blew our friggin' minds.
Seriously.
I guess that's what you get when you know a professional magician now.
Yeah, I mean that was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, speaking of magic, hopefully Howie has a few tricks up his sleeve for this Thursday night and Friday and Saturday, for that matter, of who the Eagles are going to be drafting. Now, right now, they currently sit at 15 and 18 with 2 picks after the trade with the New Orleans Saints, picking up a first next year and a second the following year, as well as an extra third this year. So right now, we're coming into the last couple of days before the draft. We've heard this, we've heard that. Whether it's smoke and mirrors, speaking of magic, or whether there's a little truth to some of the rumors that have been going around. The latest to which, I heard that if Jameson Williams is sitting there at 15, the Eagles are absolutely pulling the trigger. What do you take of this new information?
Well, I think it's like a lot of things. The Eagles are putting feelers out there. I don't necessarily know that it's smoke and mirrors. It could be a thought of theirs that, hey, at 15, Jameson Williams is sitting there. It'd be hard to pass him up. And like you have, a general conversation with someone and that topic comes up. Yeah, I think it would be hard for the Eagles to turn away a talent like that. This is a guy who, if he hadn't gotten injured, like he would have been a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
And now projections are that he may be ready and good to go for week 1. And if that's the case, then why is he not still seen as a top 10 pick?
Well, yeah, I think, as kind of draft boards, ebb and flow throughout the offseason, certain positions get a little higher, some get a little lower. We've, seen that with the safety position, with the linebacker position, where safety was, somebody like Kyle Hamilton was, I've seen at number 1, but, mostly at like 2 or 3. And I've seen him all the way, slip to us at 15 because of the positional value. And, I think, not that saying the wide receiver doesn't have his positional value, it certainly is one of the tops. It's just,
I think the depth of the position is
it's the depth that's helping. The fact that you have 5, possibly 6 wide receivers that may go in the first round. And the simple fact of the matter is that the teams that are, drafting in the top 10, wide receiver isn't necessarily their top need. And there are other positions that fill some of those top needs that they would feel probably more comfortable drafting. Now, that could all change on draft night, and you could see 3 wide receivers in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's certainly possible. But I think, there's probably a slight chance somebody goes to the top 10. It's probably like 2 or 3 that maybe go in that, early to mid-teen. And, I think the Eagles could kind of feel lucky in the fact that if Jamison Williams does make it out of that to them, that they would immediately jump up and grab him. I mean, it's obviously a need that they've been trying to hit for the last
Right.
couple of
They've
years.
invested of quite a few assets into this receiver position. And with mixed results. Rieger and JJ Arcega-Whiteside, the biggest examples of it missing.
Yeah.
And of course, Devontae Smith last year, pretty clear that it hit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they've been looking to build that wide receiver core for a while. And it's just, especially with all of the opportunities they had this offseason to go and maybe trade or sign somebody. There were reports saying that, they had talked about Christian Kirk. Obviously, when that astronomical contract was kind of thrown out there, they backed off. And
I said, well, best of luck, buddy.
Yeah, hey, good luck with that, Jacksonville. But they were in on Calvin Ridley up until the news broke of his gambling, and they were ready to pull the trigger. And they were, reportedly in on, Cooks. They had put feelers out there when, the notification of like Tyreek Hill and Adams. Now, they didn't get anywhere other than just, looking into it. But, they were actively going for a wide receiver this offseason. And Allen Robinson again, Robert Woods again. I feel like I could keep naming wide receivers that have switched teams or have signed this offseason that the Eagles were at least kicking tires on. So that goes to show how important that the wide receiver position is to them, to finding that number 2 to Devontae Smith.
Right. I think that shows you that the Eagles this weekend, whether it be Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, they're taking a wide receiver or two.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, they have to. I mean, they have to. They're not going to go into the season with Smith and Watkins as their 1 and 2.
No, that would be irresponsible. Like, you're not really getting a great gauge then on what Jalen Hurts is if that's what you're giving him to throw to.
Yeah, I mean, you're basically giving him one hand behind his back, and that's certainly not fair. And if you're already going to do that, you might as well go and get a quarterback.
But what you're saying then, if you don't go and get a receiver here, like what you're saying is, we're going to get a quarterback next year. We don't care about Jalen Hurts' development.
Well, yeah, if you're not serious about giving him all the tools and putting him in the best position, and what other buzz phrases you want to say?
Yeah, then you might as well trade him. Start Gardner Minshew.
You might as well trade him
in the season,
and get assets for next year and go hard then. Because if we don't have a wide receiver by the end of the 3rd round, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? I mean,
I got to ask you. Do you think that's a discussion in that front office of whether or not, like, if they're sitting there saying, I'm sure there's a portion of this front office that is completely out on Hurts.
Without a doubt.
And, like, are those guys then trying to, sell the idea of maybe even trying to move on from Jalen in the draft and go the route of starting a Minshew and basically, canning the season and seeing what you can get in quarterback next year? I'm not suggesting that's what they should do. Do you think maybe there are a couple of voices maybe that would say something like that?
Maybe, in small circles.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I feel like, okay, even if you're not a Hurts guy,
right?
Even if you, are adamant about the fact that Jalen Hurts is not our quarterback, and you're in the, front office,
mm-hmm.
Why would there even be a discussion of like saying, oh, well, we don't need to get a wide receiver. Like, let's just let him do his thing. Like, no, like you're hurting the team.
Yeah, you still have to.
You're hurting the team to put your thoughts and your beliefs ahead of the team, which right there tells me, no, you're out. You're done. I don't want people like that in my organization.
Yeah, I don't want people like that in real life.
whether or not like you believe or you don't, the number one goal is to move the franchise forward, to do the best that we can do, and putting the team in the best possible positions.
And you basically, like what you've done is you've committed to the idea that you're giving Hurts this year. Like Hurts is your guy for 2022, and like you have to give him every opportunity to succeed.
Yeah, 100%. And so if there are people in an organization that are against Hurts and are willing to do something like that, then changes need to be made. And I don't believe that.
I don't either. I was just throwing out the hypothetical.
Yeah, I know. We were kind of going down this, the hypothetical rabbit hole. But real quick, hey, I wanted to mention the Painted Lines. We got a couple people hanging out from the Painted Lines YouTube channel, so I always want to make sure I mention we have started a wonderful partnership with the Painted Lines. We post on their YouTube. They post on our Facebook. So please check them out. You can check them out on our Facebook page, or you can go to their YouTube, go to their website, thepaintedlines.com. Chris and the guys over there have done, Chris and Shane and Mark, and, there's a million of them over there that are putting together really great draft coverage. And I could not highly recommend them any more than I already do, and would do even if we weren't in a partnership. They absolutely go deep, and they absolutely go hard on this draft coverage. It's insane, the amount of videos that are out there that they've posted of, they go by position. They've done, crazy mock drafts. They've just broken everything down. So please check them out. The Painted Lines. Check them out on their YouTube. Check them out on their website. And then, of course, you can also check out their videos on our Facebook. So welcome, everybody. As always, we appreciate the Painted Line folks and all of their fans that come and comment on our shows. We do appreciate it. We've certainly met a few fantastic guys that have really sparked some good conversation, through that YouTube. So we appreciate it. So. So anyway, I think moving away from the wide receiver position, and I think we can all agree that first two, maybe even three picks, we should at least have somebody. And I feel like there is enough talent within the first 3 rounds to where we are picking that person could easily come in and be that number 2, just because we don't have anybody, and because Watkins is really, you can call him.
He's a 3 or a 4.
3. Yeah, you can call him whatever you want, right? But regardless, you need someone else on the outside, or somebody that can, again, Smith can go all over. Again, having somebody that can kind of go all over is great to kind of mix with Smith. And with Watkins too, because he can go outside, he can go slot. Like, having that versatility is certainly important. But you need somebody in there that's gonna, battle with Smith to be that 1-2 combo. And yeah, there are a few guys in the 3rd round even that I would say that I'd feel comfortable with. Again, coming in, they could easily, compete and battle and make that starter, leap as a rookie. Obviously, if we're getting somebody in the 1st round, that guy's.
Yeah, you're looking at him and saying, "We want you in our starting lineup in September."
Our starter here. So okay. So outside of the wide receiver position, and the fact that I feel like we could still technically get a starter within the first 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at some of the other positional needs and maybe somewhere where we need starter, give me a position, and then kind of give me, whether you think only 1st round or only, first 2 rounds, give me how far back do you think we can actually find a starter for said position?
Okay. I'll go. We can go with safety. We'll start with safety. I mean, obviously, you're probably expecting me to go corner. Corner, I really think if you're getting a starter, it's got to be in the 1st, maybe 2nd round.
Yeah.
Safety, I think you could get as far back as the 3rd, or maybe even 4th.
Really, fourth? Do you think?
I
Or is
mean,
that more of an indicator of who we have in Marcus Epps, or is that more of an indicator of how deep the position can be?
yes. Um, and it is a very deep draft for safeties this year. There's just a lot of guys that I like out of this group, and I don't like F's.
What you're saying is a combination of the two, is the fact that our inept other safety in Marcus Epps,
In F's.
and the combination of the depth. See,
Yeah,
I think I don't know if I'd go fourth.
but you
Uh,
might be willing to go with me on third.
I think there's a heavy group in the second for sure,
Oh
and
yeah,
there's probably going to be a few that trickle into the third that I would say, hey, listen, like on paper, if I had to call it right after the draft, I'd probably have him as my starter. Now, obviously, things can change. You go through off season, you go
sure.
through OTAs. You know, maybe some people don't pick it up as quickly, maybe some do, yada yada yada. So, like, I'm willing to, again, comfortable to go to the third round. Fourth is like, all right, it's not impossible and it's not unlikely, but it's just a little bit harder for that leap.
It's a harder transition. Yeah, when you're a
But
fourth round, pick, you're
it
not.
also helps you have Marcus Epps weighing down the position there.
Yeah, it's like you see him in one of the drills or something, and you're a fourth round pick. You'll be like, "Come on, man, I got to at least be better than that guy."
That's messed up, but also true. All right. So, okay. So you said that for safety. You said corner. Now, I think again, I think there's a lot of nice first round corners.
Hmm.
And I think, with, outside of Sauce, outside of Stingley, you still have Booth, McDuffie, you have Elam, you have Daxton Hill, who kind of a hybrid.
Corner safety. Yeah. Now,
Yeah,
notice I did say I thought corner you'd have to get in the first 2 rounds, and
yeah,
probably in the front half of the second round if you're going second round.
yeah, because I don't like the depth after the second round when it
No.
comes to corner. Now, there's certainly some good guys, and there's certainly some guys that could certainly surprise. That's
Hmm.
that's again, not off the table. That there are certainly talent. There is certainly talent out there. I just again, the fact of the matter is, like right now, is Maddox officially, I guess, our starter, even though he's slot.
Oh God, why?
Well, again,
Yeah, I guess right now.
he shines so well in that nickel, that slot, that it's like I feel like you shouldn't take him away from that because he did so good. And you don't want to bump him past his ability.
Sure.
Uh, that's why I think it's the utmost importance to go out and get a corner in the first couple of rounds again,
Now
because
I'll give you a name, and I want to know if you've heard of him, and it's okay if you say no. Zion McCollum from Sam Houston State.
I want to say like fourth or fifth round guy.
Yeah, and I think he can play in this league. He's gonna have to compete. He's gonna have to work. But I think he's a guy that I would love to see get a chance on a roster. And
just like any position, you find gems. You find people that outkick their coverage, and that end up being a fifth, fourth rounder, and come and be the starter day one.
Sure.
I mean, it certainly happens. I mean, honestly, when I think back to positions like that and draft picks like that,
Hmm.
I can't not picture Russell Wilson almost immediately.
Oh, right.
He was a late third rounder, and it was kind of unheard of, much less a first rounder.
Mhm.
Unless you literally were picking in the top five, that rookie might most likely would start. But after that, they'd compete, they whatever. But this was a third rounder. Somebody they were just like, oh, well, we really like this guy. Maybe we can develop him. And boom, he's the starter day one. I mean, hell, Carson Wentz wasn't even going to be the starter if it wasn't for, a little bit of an injury.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater, and then you trade Sam Bradford, and yeah.
Right. So, it's certainly possible, but to put stock in that, to heavily bet on that, obviously not necessarily the smartest. So that's why these first 5 picks for us. We have 5 picks in the first 101 selections.
Right. Like now, my guy there, McCollum. If they're drafting it, they're not drafting it with the idea that he's starting in September.
Oh well, no. But again, he could compete for that 4th overall spot.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of depth. I mean, we have Tay Gowan that we've got from Arizona in the Ertz trade, that I think is going to probably slide right into that number 4 spot right now.
Right.
Call one. But there's still a couple of other guys that are going to compete for the roster spots and actually compete for playing time. So
I mean, right now, if they had to go out and play a game right now, I mean, I know
I might.
There's a lot of teams that would cringe at that.
I might put Gowan at the 2.
Yeah,
just to
so you can keep Maddox in his natural spot. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's not the greatest.
No.
And like I said, we're also going on the assumption that, Marcus Epps is going to be the other starter, along with Anthony Harris, who did admirable, but let's say he's not a world beater. So we need some talent in both spots. And again, 5 picks in the top 101. I think.
I mean, I'm starting to think this secondary, the talent right now, and mind you, again, this is pre-draft. The talent right now, it's on the level with what they usually keep their linebackers at.
Ouch. That hurts.
Sorry.
But
I wanted to take that to transition into the conversation about the linebackers.
But and you're right, though. That's another spot where you could easily get a starter in your top 5 picks. So say if you don't go linebacker round 1, which would break my heart, I would cry and cry.
But there is a ton of talent to be had in that second, third round.
Yeah. Chad Muma, Christian Harris, the kid from Wisconsin, Chenell. There are some guys that I would love to have on this squad.
How about that kid Anderson from Montana? He's a player too.
Yeah, he's certainly somebody in the mix there. But again,
he's more of like the 4th round, maybe.
Well, yeah, I was going to say late 3rd, early 4th, but still, I sincerely hope that they are able to get 3 starters in the first 3 rounds. Because
I mean, it's a reasonable hope.
Think about it. If you get
2 first rounders,
if you get a safety, if you get a corner in, let's just say, the first 2 rounds, you would assume that both of those guys are probably going to be your starters, right? So with the other pick, maybe you go defensive end or defensive tackle. That person becomes a rotation. But then you also have, your 3rd round picks that you could easily get either a linebacker or, maybe you're going to go and get, a wide receiver. Maybe you're going to go.
You did those picks and we haven't had a wide out yet.
Yeah, maybe you're going to get a guard that could come and compete with somebody like Sayamalo. You don't know. So there are open starting spots that could be filled. And again, if we can get 3 of them out of the top 101, I think that's an absolute win for Howie. An absolute win for Howie. And considering the other 2 picks are probably going to be, more depth, picks, future picks, again, defensive line, offensive line, looking towards the future. Or maybe even getting that number 2 tight end, somebody like Jelani Woods at 101. That would be a fantastic move, in my opinion. You get a tight end to go with Goddard, and that guy's probably going to play a good amount because of the way we play.
Yeah, because they play a lot of 12 personnel.
So I mean, Howie has the opportunity to really get some impactful players, somebody that players that are going to be on this roster and also playing significant minutes. Unlike, maybe some years past where the later rounds, the third, fourth, fifth,
Right.
is more of projects, of more of, guys that didn't pan out, whatever have you. Where this year I feel like it's deep in a lot of positions that they have the needs in, and just need to get the right guys in here, and could have a huge impact. And we could be looking back at this draft for years to come, saying, hey, we had 5 picks in the first 101. We did a great job at them.
Right.
They all ended up playing roles on this team of importance. So one draft sometimes can change a franchise in so many ways. And
sure. And might we, could this be a case where, say, 5, 6, 7 years from now, like if this team's now a perennial contender, like maybe they've won a championship, like are we sitting back and looking at this draft as the draft where it all turned? And I think the answer has to be yes. Now, if that happens, that means you're also thinking, well, it also turned with the pick of Jalen Hurts. It also turned with Devontae Smith.
Sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully,
because those guys would be big parts. You would think.
Yeah. Hopefully, we could say that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So again, this is one of the most important drafts I think that we've had in a very, very long time. So,
gun to your head, do you think they pick at 15 and 18?
No, not at all.
Me either.
I think they keep one of them, and I'm still a little 50-50 on that, honestly.
Okay.
I think if a few guys that they like, whether it's Sauce, whether it's Stingley, whether it's Hamilton, whether it's Walker, whether it's Williams, even whether maybe they really like Garrett Wilson too, and something like that. I could see if those slip past where they feel like they were going to go, and I do not doubt, and I think we've all seen how he move around when he needs to, and I'll give him the credit on that. And generally, he wins those trades.
Mm-hmm.
Moving up late first, at the end of the top 10, or the right there on the outside, and grabbing one of those guys that he feels like can be a huge impact, and not necessarily giving up necessarily too much in return to do so.
Here's my thought. What about this scenario? So, like, let's just say Sauce Gardner. I'll use him as the example. He slips. He's a 10, okay, where I projected him. Well, I projected him to go 4 in my mock to the Jets. But let's just say in this scenario, the Jets decided they want to go get an edge pass rusher or an offensive lineman or whatever, a wide receiver.
Whatever, right.
So they're sitting there at 10. Eagles call them up and say, they're moving up to 10, giving up 15, and
83.
Yeah, sure. And so the Eagles go up there and they select Sauce Gardner. So then the draft plays out the way a draft would. And let's just say a bunch of receivers are still sitting there at 18. All right, all the guys you expect to kind of be there.
Williams, London, Burks, Olay. Are all sitting there.
And the Eagles say, you know what? Maybe we let somebody else make the decision on these guys. They kick back, say somebody like Tampa calls up and wants to make a move.
Okay,
I could see a scenario where the Eagles move up to 10 and then at 18 move back to like 27.
Oh yeah. Oh, 1,000% yes. And that's why I said I was like even 50-50 on
right, if they keep either of them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. Granted, I still have that long lost hope in my head.
Well, if they were to make that move back, it could be with the thought of, hey, you know what? We're not really we like these receivers and we think we can get one in the
if they move back to 20 at Pittsburgh, I would still have hope.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I feel like if we move past the Patriots and go, into 22 and beyond,
Sure.
the Patriots at 21 will absolutely select Devin Lloyd.
Okay.
And
So if they
they'll-
move back to Pittsburgh,
If they move
and
back to
then
Pittsburgh, I still have my hope.
right,
Granted, it'll get crushed again.
sure,
And,
because they're not taking him. Yeah.
but still,
Okay. How about this? How about this as a scenario? They make that trade back with, say, Tampa, 27, Nakobe Dean as an Eagle.
Listen, that would be a great consolation prize for Devin Lloyd,
Okay.
because we have really, really grown to love Lloyd.
Mhm.
But I not to say anything negatively on Dean, because I still feel like he's a first round talent. I still feel like he is a humongous upgrade. And if you're going to come out of this draft with Sauce Gardner and Kobe Dean, okay, yeah,
I think we'll both be doing backflips.
Sign us up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to get somebody to videotape us each attempting to do backflips.
Okay. And making sure that there's hospital staff nearby.
Yeah. Well, what I'm hoping is what we get is like that, like spotter that's there and like kind of like helps guide us through the backflip. Yeah.
Actually does all the work and flips us.
Yes.
Well,
I think Allison might be able to help us out with that.
There you go. She is strong as shit.
Yeah, she is.
So yeah, I think on Saturday we mentioned our kind of dream scenarios, and mine was getting somebody like Kyle Hamilton or Sauce Gardner, either one of those two. Honestly, I'd still be even fine with Derek Stingley. You can get one of those two, and then you get Devin Lloyd. I think you immediately got two humongously impactful defensive players, starters, that could come in immediately, have the impact, and then, just absolutely change this defense. And then you go to the second round, and you could go wherever you want from there, and you take the best wide receiver available. You take the best.
Maybe a Sky Moore or.
Yeah, you take the best safety, say if you get Stingley or Gardner. Take the best safety, whether it's like Brisker or Petrie or whoever, or vice versa. Take the best corner. You can do whatever you wanted there. And that to me is, if you can get such an impactful first round. Yo, what's going on there, D?
How's it going, D?
You ready for the draft on Thursday, my brother? I know I am.
Oh man, I love draft.
I was gonna say, in fact, we just got a text about
about meeting up on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
Can we both get that text? Let's we're gonna do nothing.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, we're not doing anything. Yeah, yeah. I sent a group text to all four of us. But yeah, so I think if you can come out of this first round with two hugely impactful starters on your defense, that second round pick, there's so much less pressure on that. You just take whichever prospect best available of one of your needs, wide receiver, corner, safety, whichever one you didn't hit, or go D end, get an edge rusher. Say if a Jabo falls, which I don't think will fall that far, but go ahead.
Yeah, Jabo's probably going by the end of the first round.
I would assume he probably is, but think about that. Like, say say if you do that, and say a Jabo does keep falling, and you can be like, well, we hit 2 home runs on our first 2 picks.
All right, let's go get a Jabo. Let's go.
Let's have him sit a year, red shirt. And next year will be even better. So it takes pressure off when you really, really impact and get people that are going to be there as starters for your franchise for years to come. It's just because again, like, say if you were to get somebody like Jordan Davis or a defensive, an edge rusher, those guys aren't going to come in as starters per se, most likely. Right.
But then we talked about the importance.
I'm not saying, I'm not saying that that's not important. I'm not saying it's not a need, because it is. But it's less impactful because they're going to be in a rotation. They're not going to see the field as much. than somebody like a Hamilton, a Gardner, or Stingley would in the defensive backfield, or a Lloyd or a Dean would in the linebacker position. These guys are going to be 3 down, players out there for all the snaps, and are going to run around like wild men, creating havoc and making football violent again, as you would say.
Thank you for that shout out.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I figured you would like that when I came up with it. Yeah.
Yeah, but but you see the difference though.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to get somebody like that, okay, I'm not saying it's not a good pick, and I'm not saying it's not the right one. It's just the immediate impact is going to be lessened than somebody like those other players in those positions because of how much they're going to see the field, and because they're not going into a rotation to where they may not see the field, for half the time. So
right. I would just say the impact would be something that you wouldn't feel the impact in 2022 as much, but you might in 23.
Oh, you'll absolutely in 2023 is obviously depending on the health and the availability of certain players that are already here. Yeah, they could be stepping into starting roles next year. But what I'm saying is because of that fact.
No, I understand. Yeah, I understand.
Your second rounder kind of gives you that flexibility to take a shot at a Jabo, say he falls, or to say, hey, listen, let's get a wide receiver, maybe the little off the box, let's go Christian Watson, somebody that, all right, maybe they might be people that considered higher rated, but now we really like this guy, and that's okay, and you can have that ability to do so because you've nailed your first 2 picks.
That's all. And that's the thing. Like you nail those first 2 picks, and like you said, it takes the pressure off. Because then, if you get somebody like Ojabu, and then it's like basically after his medical year this year, it's like you have 3 first-round picks in next year's draft,
right? Because
you're coming out with you already have Ojabu coming out, and then you'll have whoever you get next year's draft,
right?
And man, that's going to be an elite group. And just think about knowing you have those reinforcements coming next year. Like that also, I think, takes a lot of pressure off this year. That takes a lot of pressure off the 2022 Eagles, knowing that those guys all have to play for jobs. Okay.
Right.
But the Eagles know, even if they have some rough times, there's some better days ahead.
Yeah. No, definitely. Real quick, I wanted to also mention our wonderful news that we have joined up with Six Pack Coverage based in Tennessee. All of the Philly Sports Alliance.
There's a little nod to Tennessee here.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Have joined up, like I said, Six Pack Coverage. Not only do they, have plenty of podcasts and other shows about sports, about whether it be college, they really do a lot of college stuff, which is great. But we're, along with our brother station, CEV, we have basically been doing the Philly takeover for Six Pack, bringing all of our Philadelphia shows to the network there. So you can check them out at sixpackcoverage.com to see not only all of our shows, but CEV shows and some of the other stuff that they have on their website. Not only do they do sports, but there is lifestyle, there's travel, food, exercise, just health stuff. And it's a really great group of guys down there. Andrew down there has been fantastic to talk to. So we're excited as this partnership continues to kind of bring a little Philly down to Tennessee and hopefully even further than that as Six Pack Coverage is pretty nationwide with their coverage. So like I said, check them out, sixpackcoverage.com. You can check them out on YouTube. We're streaming there live, and our Twitter. So we're always welcoming anybody coming from Six Pack Coverage YouTube or their Twitter. We do appreciate you checking us out. So, and then one last thing I always have to say, I have to mention our official sponsor of the Philly Sports Alliance. That is La Terrain Watches. You can get an absolute amazing watch for pennies on the dollar, considering some of the other watch companies that produce high quality. This is high quality stuff for fractions of the price. Go over to www.la-terrain. That's a TOURAINE, la-terrain.com, and use code PSA for when you check out for site-wide discounts. It lets them know that you found them through us. So yeah, we do appreciate it. They got men's watches, ladies' watches, sunglasses, belts. They got some other crazy accessories, and they're always coming out with new watches, which is amazing. I personally have the Midnight Atlas. They've come out with a few different color faces. I think they have a red, a green, a blue. It really stands out, especially on that the black watch itself. So yeah, check them out. Use code PSA and get yourself step your watch game up. Basically, Eric, step your watch game up.
Yeah, I definitely need to, since I don't have one.
Yeah, you really should. Hey, Eric, you can go to la-terrain.com.
Do they have watches that I could get on my budget?
They do, actually.
Okay.
They have quite a bit. And then last thing I want to mention before we wrap up things is not only did we have a fantastic time on Saturday night at the Berwyn Tavern, special shout out to everybody who showed up, everybody who was streaming with us, commenting, and even from the crowd. Yeah, shout out to Berwyn Tavern, fantastic hosts. We do love them. Shout out to the Salvo brothers and sister.
That's right, and sister.
And sister. Also, help and support as well. But we also have a new live event coming up, May 21st. In fact, I'll bring up the information. Our good buddy, Seamus, who is a friend of the show and runs the Facebook group Philadelphia Underdogs. In fact, let me see if I can bring up this up real quick. Let's see if I can do it. There it is. Yeah. So May 21st, from noon until 3, Eric, myself, and Ryan Finneran from the Philly Broadcast will be live right outside Lenny and Susie Sports Memorabilia in Pittman, New Jersey. You can see the address right there, 6 2nd Avenue, Pittman, New Jersey. There's going to be live giveaways, T-shirts. There's going to be a signed Wilbert Montgomery jersey giveaway. We'll be giving away some things.
Now, am I eligible for the Wilbert Montgomery jersey?
I'm going to assume that we will not be.
Okay.
Sorry. But I'm sure we'll be. I'm sure we'll have access to something. But anyway, Lenny and Susie's Sports Memorabilia is fantastic. Eric and I and a few of our other buddies have been going down there for
Jersey.
Yeah. We're going to Jersey for jerseys. Lenny has amazing jerseys over there. If he doesn't have it, either whether it's in your size or you want something custom, he can do it. And then he can actually ship it out to you. So see us May 21st from noon until 3 in front of Lenny and Susie's Sports Memorabilia in Pittman, New Jersey. Our good buddy Seamus, as I said, the group owner of the Philadelphia Underdogs Facebook group, has kind of set this up. So we're hoping, not only some of the underdog members show up, but some of the other wonderful groups that we deal with on Facebook. It would be really great to kind of see everybody come out and put some faces to names and whatnot. So check us out there as well. Other than that, I think that's all we have slated in the near future. We'll obviously be doing an off-season roundtable number 3, but as the season gets closer and more of a seasonal preview and kind of an off-season wrap-up. So that'll probably be, more August.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we still have that draft to deal with on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So please, make sure you sit down, you watch, you have fun, and let's pray that Howie does a fantastic job because we really need him to this year.
And everybody pray that if there is a linebacker selected by the Eagles in the first round, pray that Ryan's hospital bill is very low.
Yeah, manageable. Hopefully, my insurance covers a lot of it. That'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm gonna do some stupid things.
Yeah.
I'm real do some stupid things.
Oh man, look at who's commenting. You got to bring this up.
That is it. Hold on. Jesse Alvarado, go Eagles.
That is somebody from the past, who you referred to affectionately.
No. We're not doing any of that. I don't even remember what any of this is. I bet I do, but
yeah,
I don't.
You do.
But I don't. I don't know any specifics, so let's not dive into that.
Jesse, continue, man. Thanks for checking in.
Anyway, so we're gonna head on out. We appreciate everybody for commenting, sharing. Again, if it takes 2 seconds, if you're on Facebook, make sure you not only like the video, you share the video, you shoot a comment, but head on over to Philly Sports Alliance. Give us a follow, give us a share it out to your friends. We're also on Twitter at Philly Sports PSA. Give us a follow there. We'll follow you right back. We're also on Twitch. We're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. We're on Spotify, Apple, Google, everywhere we get podcasts. Give us a rating. Give us 5 stars. Write us a comment. Say, hey, great show. Blah, 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 blah. Even if you don't believe it, honestly. It takes 2 seconds. It means the world to us. It helps get us and our name and our brand and our show out to other Eagles fans. And that's really all we're trying to do is kind of spread the Eagles word. So all of that, take 2 seconds out of your day and like it, follow it, share it. It means the world to us. So we do appreciate all of those who have done that and who will be doing that. So thank you, Jesse, thanks for commenting in tonight. We have got to go. We got to figure out what we're doing for the draft, apparently. We got to hammer that down. So,
yeah.
Honestly, everybody have fun. It's draft week. Let's not go nuts because I'm sure no matter who we take, somebody's going to be mad at Howie. It's just kind of how it is.
Well, obviously.
But let's all pray for corners and linebackers in the first 2 picks.
Yes.
I think
I have a better chance than you do.
Yeah, I have a real good chance more than I do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head on out. Thank you so much for everybody. Eric, you got anything to add before we head on out of here?
Nah.
All right, gotta love it. We will see you guys next Monday to kind of recap the draft. We got a lot to talk about, I am sure, and we'll kind of see how the team's looking right now, or on Monday, we'll break it all down for you. So for the Football Smack Talk show, I'm Ryan.
I'm Eric. Happy football, everybody. Only 136 days to go.
That's not bad.
Right.
Not bad. We can do that. We're getting there. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful Monday. Have a great rest of your week. Have fun watching the draft, and we will see you next Monday to break it all down for you. Thank you so much. Go Birds!
Go Birds!